Hey guys, Chris from Hockey Tutorial here. Today we've got the brand new TRUE SVH Custom skates for the new season against the previous generation SVH Custom skates. Now when we look at these skates from the base all the way up to the top, what's been changed when we look at the brand new SVHs from the base all the way to the top? That's what we're going to be doing in this video. Let's jump into it. Side note, I can't go any further without talking about something new that we've added to our online store, which is going to be scrimmage and training jerseys. This is something that's been in talks for a while, and we've finally done it. We've got camo in white, camo in black. These are going to be probably limited because we're ordering them in bulk, so these don't have to be ordered and made as you order them like our custom jerseys. Those take 4 to 6 weeks to make. These are ready essentially the minute you order the jersey. It gets shipped out to you, which is great. We'll be shipping twice every single month. There'll be a link down below in the video description to pick them up. White camo is my favorite. We also have black camo, but of course if you want to pick up the other merch that we do, which is the P28 stick t-shirts and also P92, links will be down below in the video description, and also for the hats as well. Or if you want the custom HT jersey that has your name, your number and your country flag on the back, those will be linked down below as well. You can still order those, but bear in mind those take around 4 to 6 weeks to be able to have manufactured, whereas the scrimmage jerseys are ready to order and ship immediately. But back to the video guys, make sure you check those out. Link will be down below in the video description. Now this is definitely one that you guys have been hounding me for, so let's kick it off, starting at the base of the skate as we always do, where we start to see improvements immediately. At the bottom of the brand new SVH skates from TRUE, this features their HP or HP DLC coated steel. HP standing for high polish. Now that essentially is a new way that TRUE polishes the surface of their DLC steel, and what that does is effectively it doesn't, number one, affect the actual edge of the skate blade, which is what we need to maneuver and turn on the ice. It maintains the same shape, which allows for a better degree of polishing, and essentially that means that you're going to have a better overall edge once the blade has been polished, once the DLC coating has been applied, which is going to result in better performance on the ice. So straight away we're seeing some improvements there. In addition to this, TRUE is also using a new base metal for their custom DLC steels, which are the ones that have that mirror-like finish. So if your steel that when you get a new pair of TRUE skates has the HP DLC, new base metal, better properties, better performance, better maintenance. Now, and additionally to the improvements that we've already touched on with the steel, there's also new strategic cutouts in the blade to reduce the overall weight of the brand new steel featured on these custom SVH skates. In addition to that, if you remember with the previous generation of steel from TRUE, the heel or the rear section of the holder, or the blade rather, that clips into the holder was quite tall. Now what TRUE have done is really reduced the height of that to allow the steel to be able to be used by equipment managers inside their blade cases, but more importantly, even like on a Sparks machine, which I have in the studio just to the side of the camera, you couldn't put the original TRUE blades into a Sparks blade holder and sharpen them on the Sparks machine. You had to put them inside the skates because the heel portion that clips into the holder was far too tall. That's been really slimmed down, which has not only had an improvement on the weight of the blades as well as the cutouts that they've strategically placed on the blades, but it just means that they're much more easier to transport, to have backup steel. So that's a really appreciated improvement that I know a lot of people that have to sharpen skates or maintain people's skates, equipment managers, etc. like that, they're going to really enjoy having the new steel that's much more manageable. Now, hopefully that kind of makes it obvious what the next difference is going to be in the holder. There's also been some improvements to the holder. Aside from it being more of a neutral pitch compared to what we typically see from TRUE's SVH line of skates, this holder has a much more neutral pitch. It's not as over your toes as what we saw with these SVH custom skates. In addition to this, what TRUE have also done is reduced the overall height of the holder, so it's more comparable and it feels a lot similar in terms of the height and its pitch to some of the other manufacturers that are out there. So when you put on a pair of TRUE skates, especially the SVH, if you're coming from another brand, it's not going to feel as alien, as foreign trying these new skates on. There's also a brand new mechanism incorporated into the new speed shift holders from TRUE Hockey's brand new range of custom SVH skates. Essentially, when you pull back the mechanism that releases the blade, previously you had to then pry the blade out of the holder. You don't have to do that anymore. When you pull the mechanism on the holder back, the blade will pop out, which is an awesome upgrade to have. Now when we move up into the shell of both of these two skates, again we're going to be seeing some major improvements with the overall look of the skate. They've also made some subtle changes to reduce the overall bulkiness of the look and also feel of the skate on the ice. Now the first and probably most important upgrade, in my opinion, is going to be the new carbon layering that's incorporated into the shell of the brand new SVH skates. What this allows the skate to do is reduce its overall weight while still being able to offer the durability that we've come to expect from True skates. In my opinion, the shell or the monocoque construction on True's skates is the most durable that I've personally come across in the industry in terms of skates that are available publicly right now. Hopefully that's not too much of a hint, but that's how I feel right now, and I think a lot of players that have used these skates will definitely agree with me. Now, when we look at the eyelets of the brand new skates, a big upgrade that I know a lot of people are going to appreciate is the new integrated injected molded eyelet cuff. That's a mouthful. What they've essentially done is completely redesigned the way that the eyelet cuff is mounted to the body of these skates. It's its own individual piece, and one thing that I found fascinating is they've actually had to create this molded eyelet cuff, this integrated molded eyelet cuff, for every single size of SVH skates that they have. It's not just one cookie cutter fits all. They've had to create one for every different size that they have of the skates, which is an insane attention to detail and kind of shows the lengths that True Hockey goes to create the skates that they have. Now, the benefit of this new eyelet cuff system is that, firstly, it's going to be much, much easier to be able to get your foot in and out of these SVH skates. Now, I've definitely got to say that that's one of the things that you have to know about a True skate. It's going to be quite tricky for you to get your foot in and out. Now, this has improved over time, but not so much as what we have now with the new SVH skates. It feels much more comparable to some of the other manufacturers that are out there in terms of getting your foot in and out, but it still has that wrap around the top of the foot and the high ankle area that I've grown so accustomed to with True skates. Complete contact with the foot, zero negative space inside the boot. It really, I can't really explain how the True skates feel. There isn't another skate out there on the market currently that fits like a True skate, and I think anyone that's used the new True skates will vouch for that. It really locks your foot in there, and these skates, more so than any other boot currently available on the market, is the only boot that I feel really gives you a extension of your foot feel when you're inside these skates. Nothing's built like these, nothing performs like these, nothing feels like these. Have they had a couple of things in the past that players haven't been so excited about in terms of the bulkiness of the skate, the weight? Sometimes people even complain about the design. Of course, no skate is perfect, but in terms of comfort versus performance, these definitely hit the ball out of the park. Now, for me, the only big difference between these and some of the other skates on the market, in terms of True in general, is the fact that these skates, you could say arguably, aren't as easy to be mobile with. They don't have as much mobility as some of the other skates that are out there in terms of ankle flexion, etc. Now, with the Tendon and with the brand new 3D printed tongue, that's completely eliminated that perspective that some players might have had. It might be a bit trickier for you to get the mobility out of these skates, but with those new 3D printed tongues, that notion is completely gone. But we'll touch on those when we move on to the tongues a little bit later in the video. Now, some of the other design tweaks that they've had is if we look on the outside of the skate's shell, you can see True's very unique 4-bar logo. Now, when we go onto the other side, it's actually been removed from that section. That's been done to improve the overall sleekness of the skate's appearance. That's True trying to cut down on the whole bulkiness element to their skates, and I think that they've done a pretty good job of doing that. When we move on to the toe cap, the new asymmetrical design toe cap also allows for greater surface coverage of the side of the skate or the high wear areas of the skate to essentially improve the life of the high wear areas of the skate. Now, of course, with anything from True, you can expect the toe cap to be incredibly sleek, low profile, no negative space inside there. Like I said, nothing really wraps around your feet like a True skate. And of course, this eyelet cuff is found on the outside of the skate and also on the inside of the skate. The entire shell's redesign, all of the features that we've talked about, the new carbon layering, all of that has resulted in this skate being 75 grams lighter than the previous generation of SVH skates. That's 75 grams per skate. So if you were out there thinking that the True skates were a bit heavy and that's the reason that you didn't want to get them, which shouldn't be a thing in hockey, 75 grams off of each skate is a huge amount of weight savings, and that's some of the features that True have been able to pack into the brand new SVH skates. Now, when we take a look at the 4-bar logo on the side of the skate's shell, now that's True's iconic 4-bar logo. It's been slightly tweaked from what we see on the older generation of SVH skates versus the new, but this isn't just a cosmetical difference. The side panels, or the 4-bar logo, and also the toe cap have all been redesigned to feature now an asymmetrical design. Now, that firstly means that the 4-bar logo that we see on the outside of the skate's shell isn't present on the inside of the skate's shell. Again, to kind of work towards making the skate a lot more sleeker, a lot more streamlined, kind of, targeting those comments that some players might have had in the past about the original SVH skates. Now, in addition to this, the toe cap's new redesign offers greater surface coverage of the high wear areas of the side of the boot, effectively making the outside shell of the skate much more durable. The high wear areas aren't going to be kind of being chewed up by the ice as you're skating, turning aggressively, playing contact hockey. Overall, just improving the durability of the skate's construction while still being able to reduce the overall weight. Remember what we said previously, 75 grams has been saved on the new SVH skates per skate, which is insane. Now, when we look at the tendon on both of these skates, you can see that the tendon on the brand new SVH skates is a little bit different. It also features a section over here that you can adjust the colors on, but we'll touch on that towards the end of the video. But in addition to that, it's essentially been mounted much better on the skate to improve its overall durability while still allowing you to get the flexion that you would expect out of the tendon. So better durability, but without compromising the flexibility that the tendon is known for. When we move on to the tongue of the brand new SVH skates, some big upgrades over here. Of course, the 3D tongue, we'll touch on that one a little bit later. But with the tongue that comes standard or stock on the brand new SVH skates, what can you expect from it? It has improved wear resistance around the inner and also the outer top edges by incorporating some low friction patches along the sides or the high wear area of the tongue. So as the tongue sort of like flopping back and forward as you're striding on the ice, the reduced wear patches are going to help the life of the liner. And in addition to this, its new design is also going to prevent any unwanted movement of the tongue. Now, when we look at the 3D printed tongue, this thing's a freak of nature because of the benefits, the way that it looks, the way that it feels. I'm not going to say that this is more protective than this particular tongue over here because I kind of feel like the stock tongue is more protective. But the 3D tongue is still protective, but what you do get with this tongue is unmatched mobility. Your range of motion on the ice, the ability to get over the toes of your skates, there is no restriction in your movement on the ice. It really unlocks a further degree of ankle movement and ankle mobility on the ice. And I think it's why a lot of players are going to opt for this. You don't feel like you have to work against the skate to be able to get it to flex. Of course, as you break it in, this tongue will become much, much softer, much more pliable. But this, straight out of the box, unmatched movement, unmatched range of motion, the flexibility of it, but still the way that it locks your foot in the skate and offers you comfort and also protection is unlike any other tongue I've ever seen. Now, I'm not going to say that it's the most protective tongue, but in terms of somebody looking for maximum ankle mobility and movement, this is going to be the tongue that you put on your SVH skates or any of your True skates for that matter. Now, in addition to all of these upgrades, they also have their Genetics 2 insoles. Now, these insoles aren't just a bit of foam that goes in the bottom of the skate, they have performance benefits. They've got different inserts that you can attach to the insoles, to the bottom of them, depending if you're low arch, high arch, or medium arch. This gives you a much more complete skate fitting process. So in other words, not only the body of the boot is built around your foot, but also the footbeds are there to accommodate your specific requirements and needs. These do have major upgrades, but they are thicker than a regular footbed. So it really depends on if you're the type of player that wants to go for that, that's an option that you can have, or you can just have a traditional, simple, flat foam footbed. It really depends on what you need, but the Genetics footbeds definitely have performance benefits. They definitely aid your comfort and allow your foot to kind of sit inside the skate's construction properly and securely. But that, of course, comes down to personal preference. Now, I feel like that's the majority of the differences between these two skates. If there's anything else that you want to know, leave your comments down below and I will be sure to answer them as quickly as I can. And if I don't know the answer, of course, I'll be relaying back to True to get the information for you. So bear with me if you don't see an answer immediately, but I will try and get round to every single comment that you guys leave. Now, of course, the next video from here with these skates is going to be on ice performance. I think the big one is going to be how do these custom skates compare to the previous ones in terms of their on-ice performance, and how do these custom skates, the new SVH, compare to all of the other custom skates that are out there, and what do we think about their actual on-ice performance and feel. Now, that's going to be a separate video that's going to be coming as quickly as we can make it happen. These particular custom SVH skates are for Sean, who is our Canadian tutorial coach personality on the channel. Of course, as soon as me and Tommy are able to get on the ice with ours and thoroughly test them, we'll be giving you on-ice performance, as well as hopefully Sean giving you some feedback on what his experience is like, as he is a Bauer skater or Bauer player. So it'll be interesting to see what the feedback is like on that. But leave your comments down below, guys. Appreciate you watching the video to the end. Thank you, guys. Make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.